The village of Bhimghat, nestled deep within the heart of India. Ancient tales wove through its very existence. Whispers of the Vetala, a malevolent spirit, echoed through generations. This creature, a restless entity trapped between worlds, haunted the outskirts of the village, particularly an ancient banyan tree. Its gnarled branches reached out like skeletal fingers. The villagers spoke of the Vetala's chilling laughter carried on the night wind. Children were warned never to venture near the banyan tree after sunset. Tales of missing villagers, their fates intertwined with the Vetala's sinister presence, served as grim reminders. The elders spoke of the Vetala's ability to possess the living, twisting their minds and bodies to its own wicked will. Fear was a constant companion in Bhimghat, an unspoken truth that permeated the very air they breathed. The Vetala was more than just a ghost story. It was a tangible fear. It was an ever-present threat. It was a shadowy figure lurking just beyond the periphery of their vision, waiting for an opportune moment to strike. The stories of the Vetala were ingrained in the cultural fabric of Bhimghat. They served as a constant reminder of the unseen forces that governed their lives. The villagers lived in a delicate balance between reverence and fear. They respected the supernatural and tried to appease the spirits that roamed their land. Offerings were made at the foot of the banyan tree. Prayers were whispered into the wind in hopes of appeasing the Vetala's vengeful spirit. Yet, despite their efforts, the unsettling presence of the Vetala remained a constant shadow over their lives. Ramesh, a young man known for his sharp intellect and skeptical nature, scoffed at the village's superstitions. He dismissed the tales of the Vetala as mere folklore. He believed in logic and reason, rejecting the supernatural narratives that shaped the lives of his fellow villagers. Ramesh prided himself on his modern thinking, separating himself from what he considered the backward beliefs of his community. He saw fear as a weakness, a tool used to control the ignorant masses. He challenged the elders and their stories, much to their dismay. He considered himself enlightened, above the superstitions that held his village captive. Ramesh's skepticism was a point of contention within Bhimghat, creating a rift between him and the deeply rooted traditions of his ancestors. Ramesh often argued with the village elders, questioning the validity of their beliefs. He demanded proof, evidence of the Vetala's existence. He sought to debunk their stories with scientific explanations. He viewed their fear as a product of their limited understanding of the world. His relentless pursuit of rational explanations often led to heated debates, further isolating him from the community. Ramesh's skepticism was not born out of malice, but rather a genuine desire to understand the world around him. He believed in the power of knowledge and reason. He sought to liberate his village from the shackles of fear. He envisioned a future where logic and science would prevail over superstition and myth. However, his unwavering disbelief would soon be put to the ultimate test. The annual village festival, a vibrant celebration of life and harvest, had drawn to a close. Ramesh and his friend Mohan, both slightly intoxicated from the festivities, began their journey home. The moon hung heavy in the sky, casting long, distorted shadows across the path. The night air grew cold, a stark contrast to the warmth of the day's celebrations. Mohan, ever cautious, suggested they stick to the main road, wary of the encroaching darkness. Ramesh, however, dismissed his friend's concerns. Eager to reach home, he proposed a shortcut through the forbidden forest. A shortcut that would shave a considerable amount of time off their journey. He scoffed at Mohan's apprehension, reminding him of his disbelief in the supernatural. The path through the forest was shrouded in an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional rustling of leaves. The air grew heavy with an unnatural stillness, an unsettling quiet that seemed to press against their eardrums. Mohan's unease grew with every step, his eyes darting nervously around the darkened woods. He pleaded with Ramesh to turn back, but his friend's resolve remained unshaken. Ramesh, fueled by his skepticism and a touch of arrogance, pressed onward, ignoring the growing sense of dread that permeated the forest. He mocked Mohan's fears, attributing them to the lingering effects of the festival's spirits. He strode confidently through the darkness, his laughter echoing through the silent trees. Little did he know that his bravado would soon be met with a chilling reality. Section 4. The Unsettling Path. A thick fog began to roll in, obscuring the path ahead. The trees seemed to twist and contort into grotesque shapes, their branches reaching out like grasping claws. The temperature plummeted, a bone-chilling cold that seeped into their very bones. The air grew thick with a strange, cloying scent, a sweet, sickly smell that made their stomachs churn. Mohan's fear intensified. He could feel the hairs on the back of his neck prickling with unease. He whispered prayers under his breath, seeking protection from the unseen forces that surrounded them. Ramesh, though outwardly calm, began to feel a prickle of unease himself. The forest felt different, charged with an energy he couldn't explain. The fog grew denser, swirling around them like a living entity. The path beneath their feet became treacherous, hidden beneath a carpet of damp leaves and gnarled roots. Strange sounds echoed through the fog, whispers and rustling that seemed to come from all directions. The sounds played tricks on their minds, making them question what was real and what was not. Mohan stumbled, his hand grasping Ramesh's arm for support. He begged his friend to turn back, his voice trembling with fear. Ramesh, his skepticism wavering, hesitated for a moment. He could sense the change in the atmosphere, the palpable fear that hung heavy in the air. But his pride prevented him from admitting his apprehension. He pushed onward, deeper into the heart of the fog-laden forest. The fog began to dissipate, revealing a clearing bathed in the pale moonlight. In the center stood a massive banyan tree, its gnarled branches reaching towards the sky like twisted limbs. Its roots snaked across the ground, forming a grotesque network that seemed to pulse with an unnatural life. The air around the tree crackled with an eerie energy. A palpable silence hung over the clearing, broken only by the gentle rustling of the banyan's leaves. Mohan gasped, his eyes wide with terror. He recognized the tree from the village legends, the infamous dwelling place of the Vetala. He tugged at Ramesh's arm, urging him to flee. But Ramesh, mesmerized by the sight of the ancient tree, remained rooted to the spot. He couldn't explain the strange pull he felt towards it, a morbid curiosity that overcame his fear. A sudden gust of wind swept through the clearing, causing the banyan's branches to sway violently. A chilling laughter echoed through the air, a sound that seemed to penetrate their very souls. Mohan screamed, his voice raw with terror. He turned and fled, disappearing into the darkness of the surrounding forest. Ramesh, however, stood his ground, his heart pounding in his chest. From the depths of the banyan tree, a figure emerged. It was tall and gaunt, its skin a sickly grey. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural light, burning into Ramesh's soul. The creature smiled, revealing rows of sharp, pointed teeth. It was the Vetala, the malevolent spirit of the forest, and Ramesh was now face to face with the very legend he had so readily dismissed. Ramesh's blood ran cold, his skepticism shattered like glass. He finally understood the true meaning of fear. The Vetala floated towards him, its movements unnervingly smooth and silent. Its eyes never left his, holding him captive in their chilling gaze. Ramesh tried to speak, to scream, but his voice caught in his throat. He was paralyzed with terror, unable to move or even breathe. The Vetala circled him, its laughter echoing in his ears. It reached out a skeletal hand, its long, bony fingers tracing the outline of Ramesh's face. Its touch was icy cold, sending shivers down his spine. Ramesh closed his eyes, bracing himself for the inevitable. He knew, with chilling certainty, that his life was about to change forever. The Vetala's grip tightened, its fingers digging into Ramesh's flesh. He could feel its power coursing through him, a dark, malevolent energy that threatened to consume him entirely. He opened his eyes, and what he saw sent a wave of pure terror through him. The Vetala's eyes were no longer glowing. They were now black, empty voids that seemed to suck the life out of him.